It's recording now. Homework.
I had problems with 14 and 15 on the preparation.
15. Applet to make it work or to figure it out, the area.
Well, I thought you couldn't use the applet because it's right skewed.
Let's see. I think because x is greater than 36.5, can you? Like, because it's greater than 30, it will make it more normal.
I don't know, everything
So, like
I tried, it didn't match the answers in the answer key.
14, I have it's set up to be 36.5 minus 40 over 12 divided by the square root of 36. It was that one formula. X minus u over.
Yeah, that's what I did.
What. Then you get the z-score of negative 1.75. And then you had to go enter that into the applet.
What did you get for the z-score?
Negative 1.75. When you go into the applet, you have to highlight everything that's above the negative 1.75, and it gave you the area.
I just got a different z-score.
So the standard deviation was 12, and the where's it at? Oh, the sample size is 36, or the square root of 36. So if you do that bottom part first and you do 12 divided by the square root of 36, it's 2. And then the top one is 36.5 minus 40, and that equals a negative 3.5. So then it's negative 3.5 divided by 2, which gives you the z-score of negative 1.75. I'm going to pull the applet up too. Although I'm not there and knowing how to share screens yet.
I think I had numbers mixed up.
Let's see. Everything above negative 175. Yeah. And number 15 is set up just like that. But because it's the same amount of distance from 40, I only solve for one to get the, well, actually I solve for both. It will be like 37.5 minus 40 over 12 divided by the square root of 36.
Yeah, I just had numbers mixed up. That's why I was getting it wrong.
It's a lot to remember. Like, I don't know that I'll ever remember it. I think it's a good thing we can have some notes. Okay. guys have any other questions or?
Nope.
No.
I think that one way to tell the difference between like this formula, which is the x minus u over the standard deviation by this divided by the sample, or the square root of the sample, is that if it gives you the sample size n, then you know it's that one compared to the other one that is that other equation. I think you're still finding the z-score, but what is? So x minus u divided by the standard deviation. Or, yeah. Am I confusing you more?
No. I know.
Okay, you guys ready to go on to the quiz, or what do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so number 3 is, I'll pull up the normal probability app.
One or 0.1745.
Okay, here.
That's
I
what
got it.
got.
Okay, so it's, what did you get?
0.1745.
So you put the z-scores in, right? And then are we just highlighting the center?
No, the right and left.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I didn't read the right and left part. Okay. Okay, I can read number 4. Which of the following will have a smaller standard deviation if 9 observations are randomly drawn from a population?
What a second one?
It's kind of what I'm thinking too. Well, that's, I know the more you, what is that rule that says if the sample size increases and the standard deviation decreases?
All right.
Oh, it's probably the end of, well, so which of the following will have a smaller standard deviation if 9 observations are randomly drawn from?
Oh, then it would be. Oh.
It's 1 or 2, because like if it was individual observations, wouldn't it have? Okay, so the smaller, so it's going to be the second one.
Yeah.
Yep, because if it was the first one, then it would be actually make the standard deviation larger, because the more you have, the smaller it gets.
Which of the following results implies that the spread in the sample mean decreases as the sample size increases?
That's the one that I just read, right? If the sample size increases and the standard deviation decreases. which is the law of large numbers.
Right.
Diane earned a score of 160 on the quantitative portion of the GRE. What's the Z-score corresponding to Diane's score?
So 160 minus 150.8 divided by 8.8,
I got
right?
I got 1.045.
I did not get that. Hold on. I might have my X and U's wrong. One 60. $1.045 is what you got?
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess the next one, question 7.
Wait, how did you get that? Because I am not getting that.
So it's, you take your X minus U divided by the standard deviation. So X is 160.
Mm-hmm.
Then 150.8. And then you divide it by 8.8. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So 160 minus 8.8.
150.8.
Yeah.
Or, oh.
Because your standard deviation is what you're going to divide it by.
You got 1.045.
Yep.
Okay. I just had my numbers mixed up.
Okay, so question 7 says, what is the probability that a randomly selected student will score above 160 on the quantitative proportion of the GRE? Round your answer to 3 decimals. Example, if the answer is, well, you guys know what rounding is. So I think we take that Z-score that we just got and put it into the applet.
Yeah.
0.045. And then what is it asking? We're supposed to.
Everything to the right, everything above it.
Would it 0.148?
Yes. Okay. No, who wants to next? Or I can, either way. And question number 8.
What or a random sample of 5 students was selected to take the GRE. Their scores are 160, 175, 163, 149, 153. What's the z-score corresponding to the sample mean of these students' scores?
So add those up and divide by 5. So 160. So we got to put that into that equation. And like language on these, like when you're reading things, the language on it really matters. The fact that it starts out saying a random sample of 5 students tells you right there that the 5 students is going to be that n number that you have to set up that one equation where it's x minus u divided by its standard deviation divided by the random sample is 5. So it's going to be 160 minus 150.8. We're still answering back to the same GRE question. Divided by 8.8, which is divided by the square root of 5. Does that make sense?
You said 160 minus 150.8 divided by 8.8.
Yeah, 160 minus 150.8 divided by 8.8, which is divided by the square root of 5. So the first thing you got to do is find that square root.
Well, what would be the value of n?
Value of x, did you ask?
No, n.
And it's yeah, the square root of that 5. Because this question starts out a random sample of 5 students. I think anytime you see random samples, that's gonna be your square root. That's that. What is n? I can't remember what n even stands for. I just know that's random samples. That's what that represents. So, and I think sometimes it won't turn, like I noticed on the homework, if you didn't do, or was it the homework? You have to kind of do more, don't round up so fast. Like the square root of 5 is 2.23606. I would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 numbers past it? I don't know. 7. Which is a pain in the rear to have to re-put back in a calculator. But then you got to divide that 8.8 divided by what you got for the square root of 5.
I think I did this wrong.
Well, it's a crazy number, so don't. I wouldn't be surprised if you did it right.
The 2.337.
Yeah, I think I did it wrong.
So I have 2.338.
Oh, yeah.
So you did it right. It's just the difference of the rounding, which is pain in the rear. So what are you thinking, Jackie? What, like just that you plugged in the numbers wrong, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, because so did the 160 minus 150.8 over 8.8 And then you divide that by the square root of 5?
Yeah.
Let me try plugging it in again.
Yeah, and then what's that called where you have that order of how everything has to be done when you deal with an equation? Because the very
The order of operations.
yeah.
MDOS.
Yeah, so the very first thing that has to be done is you've got to figure out the square root and then you divide.
Okay.
That 8.8 gets divided by that square root.
I have no idea what I'm plugging in. I keep getting this same answer.
So the 8.8 divided by the square root should give you an answer of 3.9354797. And then your 160 minus 150.8 is 9.2. Or what did you get for your square root of 5?
For square root of 5, I got 2.236.
Yeah, I think it can make a difference on the very last answer if you don't do like 6 or 7 numbers past the what am I trying to say? The decimal.
So just don't just stop at the 3 decimal places.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll sometimes like go in and watch another group's video just to try to understand because they can teach things. And that's kind of what they were saying. So I personally I would have stopped at the 3 or 4 decimals, but I know in other math classes that I've done, if you don't go farther than that, it can make a difference. So I can see why they were saying that.
Okay, I don't know if it's the calculator or what that I have, but I keep getting the same answer. I don't know why.
So yeah, like I would write out that square root of 5, which is 2.2360679.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can go in and you can do that 8.8 divided by that crazy long number.
Oh, so 3.936.
I got 3.93597.
Sorry, say that again.
3.9354797.
Yeah.
You can, I mean, definitely if you don't want to do it that way and you want to just round 3 numbers and we submit it and we can see the difference between like, cause Zach got 2.337, right, Zach?
I just didn't round.
Yeah, we can see if it really makes that much of a difference and then go back and resubmit the quiz with whichever is the right answer.
You got, it's 2 point something?
Yeah, 2.338. Because you divide that 9.2, which you got from the 160 minus 150.8. by what you got, that 3.9354797 number.
So after I get this 93547 number, then I divide that.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if this will help. Make it so you can. That's really blurry. Is that seeable? So number 8. So 160 minus, and then over here is the numbers. I don't know if that helps.
Yeah, I can't really see it. That's okay.
Okay. I could probably write it bigger too on a piece of paper, if that would help.
Yeah, because I'm not getting this one for some reason.
So I'll write the original problem. Um, okay, so does that help? So here's the original. Is it even like?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the square root of that is here. That's the answer, the 2.2, what is it? 36. That's what the square root of 5 is. I'm then going to take the 8.8 and divide it by that answer right here.
Okay.
And
that's where you get the 3.
Yep. This number right here, the 3.9354797.
Mm-hmm.
But up here, here's the top equation that, just move over, because that then has to be divided by this number.
Oh, so 9
point. Yeah, I mean, this problem right here, you have to go through, how many different steps is that? Like 3 different steps? Well,
yeah.
Before you
and then you got 2.338. Okay. Sorry that took me so long to understand.
It's important that you're able to understand, especially with the exam next week coming up. All right, question 9. What is the probability that 5 randomly selected students will have a mean score that is greater than the mean achieved by the students in the previous problem? Round your answer to 4 decimal places. So I think we can take that last answer as our z-score and put it in the applet.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't look. And then we're going to highlight to the right of that. Yeah. Or what does it say about rounding? Because I got 0.0097.
Yeah, that's what I got.
4 decimals.
Okay.
Suppose the mean GPA of BYUI students is 3.5 and standard deviation is 0.7. It is well known that this distribution is left skewed. Random sample of n equals 81 students will be drawn. What is the shape of the sampling distribution of the random variable x, which represents the sample mean of the 81 students who are selected?
So with the random sample of 81, that falls into that that one theorem. What is it called? I've just shorted it to CLT. I can't.
Central limit theorem.
So it should be approximately normal, just because that is above 30.
What is the mean of the distribution of the sample means for all possible samples of size 81 that could be drawn from the parent population?
So we just have to look up above. It says that the mean is 3.5. Right? Because there's no other answer up there that 3.5. Okay, number 12. What is the standard deviation of the distribution of the sample mean sampling distribution for all possible samples of size 81 that could be drawn from the parent population?
So the standard deviation divided by the square root of 81.
That all the more of that okay. So here's my calculator. So the standard deviation is 0.7. We know the square root of 81 is 9. So 0.7 divided by 9 is And we just only have the round.
0.07.
So 3 decimal places. So 0.078.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird how like it's not every question is different. Like they don't keep it the same standard all throughout the whole quiz where it's like only round to 1 decimal point here or round to 4 or round to 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind of confusing.
Yeah, it is. Okay, number 13. What is the probability that the mean GPA for 81 randomly selected UIUI students will be less than 3.3? So that 3.3 is X. And the 3.5 is U. So if we're finding the z-score, so 3.3 minus 3.5 divided by the standard deviation, which is 0.7, divided by the random sample of 81. So it's that same equation. Point 7 divided by 9.
You get 0.0051.
Yeah, because you then take that, you took that z-score and then put it in the applet. Is that right?
Yeah.
Did you get a z-score yet, Jackie?
Almost.
Yeah, I got the 0.0051.
Oh, my calculator won't do the negative. Because you do negative 0.2 divided by 0.07778, right?
Mm-hmm. And just know that that will give you a negative answer because it is a negative 0.0 or 0.2.
You got negative 2.57.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a z-score.
And then take that into the applet and
You highlight just the left
Mm-hmm.
and get 0.0051.
Yeah.
yep.
Okay. What is the probability that the mean GPA for 81 randomly selected BYUI students will be greater than 3.3?
Okay, so we already have all the z-score and all that stuff. We can just go in and highlight
The right side?
I think we got to highlight.
Yeah, you just highlight everything on the right, middle and right.
Oh.
So 0.9949, how many decimals do we round up?
3.
Okay, so 0.995, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so last one. Right? Okay. The United States Coast Guard assumes the mean weight of passengers in commercial boats is 185 pounds. The previous value was lower. It was raised after a tragic boating accident. The standard deviation of passenger weight is 26.7 pounds. The weights of random sample of 48. So there's that random sample. So we know that will be a square root. Of 48 commercial boat passengers were recorded. The sample mean was determined to be 177.6 pounds. Find the probability that a random sample of passengers will have a weight that is as extreme or more extreme, either above or below the mean, than was observed in the sample. Round your answer to 3 decimal places. So let's plug in all the numbers for that formula. We know the random sample is going to be the square root part of that, and the deviation is going to be 26.7. So that's the bottom half of that equation, 26.7 divided by the square root of 48. And now we got to figure out which is x and which is u. So the sample mean is 177.6. So that is, I can't keep these straight. X, yep. So 177.6 minus 185. That's the top part of our equation. So 177.6 minus 185 divided by 26.7 divided by the square root of 48.
Are we trying to find the percentages above it or below it?
Good question. Extreme or more extreme. So was that above it? So
Yeah.
the z-score is negative 1.920.
Mm-hmm.
1.92. And then everything above that negative number.
0.9726.
Is that right? Oh, you don't. Okay, wait. Left and the right. Because you're doing either above or below the mean. Like, we'll have a weight that is as extreme or more extreme, either above or below the mean. So because it says above and below, you highlight the left and the right.
And not the center.
Well, it says no, as extreme or more extreme means that we are not only interested in values that are lower than the ones we observe, but also values that are as far away from the mean. So yeah, you got to do the left and the right.
So 0.0549.
Yep. And we're going to do 3 decimal places. So 0.055. You guys ready to submit? See what we got?
Mm-hmm.
100%. All right. I don't know what the schedule will be for like next week because the exam I think is open to take Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So I don't think we meet until we have another group lesson. I don't know. I'd have to look at it.
Yeah, I wasn't sure on that either.
So it might just be next Thursday. I don't know how soon we dive into another lesson. I'm guessing next Thursday will be a lesson that we'll have to do a quiz on and get together next Thursday, but I guess we'll see in the next week's weekly information. If it tells us differently, we can just text each other.
Sounds good.
Okay. Good luck on your exams.
You too.
See you next week.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.